So the last episode was relatively uneventful compared to what I wanted it to be, but it did serve as a turning point for this series where there were a lot of decisions that had to be made, and those decisions were going to affect how the next few seasons played out. Now, over the past couple of days, of course, I've had a little bit of extra time to think about how we're going to do this. First and foremost, the coaching staff and everything. It's being sorted out. Hopefully Brent Burns will be on as a member of the coaching staff. But when you look at this team, there was pretty much the choice of just how far do we step back? How do we spend this $23 million in available cap space, if at all? Goaltending-wise, what do we look to do? Gustafsson, we probably don't want to rush him to a starting NHL spot. Defensively, we're going to see Sandin and Bouchard improve, but is that enough? And forward-wise, do we finally see the departure of Marleau and Pavelski? But also, do we look to go after Johnny Gaudreau, which would help, but that would definitely be the catalyst to getting rid of Bjorkstrand or Eberle, because it wouldn't make too much sense to have one of them on the third line. Although, if we did, the third line could be Eberle, Hyman, Gambrell, or Bjorkstrand, which would be just batshit insane for a third line. It really would be. Now, admittedly here, I'm still somewhat undecided, because yeah, we are still very much in that place of wanting to win, and when you have the core that we do, we kind of have to win, and if we do take a step back, it can really only be for a year or two. Right now, the only contract we have out is for Alexiev, the goaltender that we had before, that is now yet again a free agent. When it comes to the goaltending, we need to sign 2 players regardless, and again, the option is spend big money on a short-term deal for the likes of Matt Murray or Markstrom, or we look at just signing guys who might be able to get the job done for a year or two, like Lundqvist, Crawford, just for the hell of it, throw somebody under the bus who might be able to do okay if we were to actually be successful this season. Now, for Matt Murray, it would be a relatively expensive deal. He wants 7 years. So we're looking at a 1 year, $8.5 to $9 million offer to get that to work. And even then, there's no guarantee because we're not matching the term that he wants. So it's tough to say that we should do that when also looking at potentially bringing in a defenseman or two, although the issues are still there that we talked about in terms of like Lindholm being a 20-point defenseman and signing him to $5 to $6 million is batshit insane for that. And then you factor in, well, what if we wanted to sign Johnny Gaudreau? For the record, we can't sign Mike McLeod. We do not have the correct draft picks to send him the proper, or to send New Jersey, the proper compensation. So he is not an option for us. So we really can't do everything. We can't. I would say in this game, the least important thing is to have a high-rated goaltender because of how often low-rated players work out. The reason, though, as to why I don't want to sign Johnny Gaudreau, or if I do, it's going to be a very cheap deal, is because Timo Meier's contract is up at the end of this upcoming season, and that's gonna require some money. So you look, Meier right now, if we look at what he's asking for, he's asking for $10 million. And we might be able to drop that a little bit, but you gotta figure if we sign Johnny Gaudreau to a boatload of money, that's really gonna cut into what we can get Timo Meier for next year. Depending on what the rest of this situation looks like. I mean, defensively, we still have Erik Karlsson signed, but Merkley will have to be signed. Sandin, Bouchard as well, as they'll be playing in the NHL this year. So I don't know if going for Gaudreau for anything more than a year is really worth it. So really what we're looking at here, if you add it all up, is a very unfortunate set of circumstances. Where, yeah, we could go for Johnny Gaudreau for a year, and it would make more sense to go for Gaudreau than to bring in like a Josh Anderson, although Josh Anderson actually did fairly well last year. He did about as well as Gaudreau in terms of being a 60-point guy, although obviously if we do have a Goodrow on the top line, what he should be able to provide would be ridiculous. But we're talking $10 million to Goodrow. We would be talking about $8 to $9 million for Matt Murray. I just don't see that as worth it, especially when you'd be looking at potentially bringing in 2 defensemen. Although who those 2 would be, I don't know, because we'd also probably want cheap one-year deals. So looking at this team, we have the option of going with cheap one-year deals to artificially boost up this team, and maybe we get something out of it, or we just turn the keys over to the youth and see what happens. And for the past few years, we've continued to bring in the Marlows, the Pavelskis of the world to try and boost up this team a bit more, and it hasn't worked. The one issue I have here is that, yeah, if we were to sign Matt Murray, if we were to sign Hampus Lindholm and Johnny Gaudreau, although we couldn't get all 3, we'd be looking pretty damn good. But this is an instance where I think, okay, we have money to spend, but we don't necessarily have to spend it. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to bother this time out. We are going to stay put, and we are going to go with the players that we have now, unless some of those prices drop and some of these guys don't sign over the next few days. So just to catch you up on this, Connor Beach is our new NHL head coach. You'll get a look at the full coaching staff once everybody signs. Edwin Maltby is our new goalie coach at the NHL level. Miroslav Olvecki, our AHL goalie coach. Brent Burns is on as our AHL associate coach. We'll see what he and Thornton end up doing. Gavin Reagan is in as a scout, and this will be all the scout options, which I am going to have to ultimately reset the scouts, but that's fine. As we end up getting Alexiev, which is nice. Some of these other scouts couldn't sign. I sent offers to more than we could afford to take on. I'm actually going to do that. Emelin and a 6th for a 4th. That's, yes. Thank you, Chicago. Out of nowhere, it's just, oh yeah, here, have a garbage player I don't want. Thank you very much. Signing-wise, what's been done thus far? Have there been any trades aside from ours? No. So, let's see. I mean, Jack Campbell's gone. Chara, looking for the real big names here, though. Only a Levy back to Vancouver on a 5-year deal. Markstrom went to the Leafs. Josh Manson, Colin Miller. Ekholm went to Vegas. Comtois gets offer sheeted by Calgary. So they are very much out of the Johnny Gaudreau business. As if him hitting the free agent market wasn't a big enough sign. Speaking of the free agent markets, yeah, Gaudreau's price has dropped a bit. Still no offers from Mark Giordano. Interesting. And then goaltending-wise, Matt Murray is still there as well. No offers for David Riddick. But we could look, again, to bring in a Lundqvist and just lowball some of these guys if we had to. I do wonder, because if we wanted to go with Giordano, it wouldn't be the worst idea to bring in 2 other NHL-ready defensemen. But, man, the asking prices are just so goddamn high right now. So, we'll move on. We'll sim another couple of days. Keep an eye on the market. But, as it stands, I don't know how much I'm doing. I do not want Frederick Claesson for a 2nd-round pick. Thank you very much. I am not Peter Chiarelli. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see, any other big deals? Gallagher to Minnesota, Raquel to Boston. Max Comtois stays in Anaheim. Colorado making quite a few moves. McLeod stays in New Jersey. Lindholm goes back to Anaheim. Brodin's gone. Rinne to Columbus. Kevin Labanc gets 5 years from Ottawa. Matt Murray goes to Detroit for 7. Dallas gets Josh Anderson for 4. And Johnny Gaudreau goes to Minnesota on a 6-year deal. So, for anybody who was hoping that we'd get Johnny Gaudreau, I at least hope that explaining the thought process at least helps you understand, even if you disagree with the decision. We do need to sign a bunch of players, mainly for the AHL. So let's take one look here and see just how many players we have to sign in particular. We do still have to sign some goaltenders as well. So this cap space will be taken up, but we're still going to have quite a bit of space So yeah, I need two NHL caliber defensemen. And then that leaves room to sign Gustafsson just in case. So we need 2 NHL caliber goaltenders. Defensively, it could very well be Carlson, Merkley, Waugh, Sandin, Bouchard, and Fleury, and then Ferraro. So I need at least like 9 defensemen, which is ridiculous. Forward-wise, again, we have our top 9 here. 10, 11, and 12, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, no, 11. And we'll sign like 4 forwards that are all going to be AHL caliber, I would imagine. So let's get these signings done. We'll still see who else is out there, even if the big fish are gone. Gio has not lowered that asking price, huh? That was a bold strategy. So goaltending-wise, I mean, Riddick is the top guy. And might just be who I sign. I mean, his save percentage is relatively on point. I cannot believe Mike Smith was that good. Wow. Somehow, someway, Mike Smith at 40 is hanging in there. Dubnyk, Khudobin, Jimmy Howard's been on point lately. Ryan Miller's still playing, which is insanity. I mean, am I really looking at Mike Smith and Jimmy Howard in goal? That would be relatively hilarious. I mean, did Howard play in the NHL last year? He did. Jesus Christ. Oh, a combined age of 78 years old. I'm doing this. We are bringing in Mike Smith and Jimmy Howard for the memes. And that is the ultimate meme. Eat your heart out, Edmonton. Now that's a goaltending tandem. Defensively, Gio's still there, but he's still looking for all the goddamn money in the world. A lot of these guys are, which is very frustrating. It would be nice to have an insurance policy, but you know what? Screw the insurance policy. Let's just sign the depth that we need. So Sheelington's an RFA. That's not going to work for me. Nick DeSimone is going to be brought back. I am just going to sign him to a 3-year deal, and we'll just have him in the AHL as a depth option for the next couple of years. Carl Gunnarsson is also going to be signed, probably. Yeah, let's do it. Carl Gunnarsson is going to be sent a 1-year offer as well. Julius Bergman, former Shark, is going to be brought back as well. Gustav Olofsson will send an offer too. So yeah, the AHL defensive situation is going to be very, very nice. Slater Cuckoo, sign you up as well. Dean Kukin, we got to sign the Kukins. So we have our 6. Mitch Reinke will be 7th. Amazing eyebrows. Mark Friedman will be signed as well. Amazing hair. And let's go for one more. It's going to be... I'm going to go for Brandon Manning over Alex Petrovich. So there we go. We're looking good. And then forward-wise, again, we need like 4 players here just to help fill out the roster. And looking at the top of the list, not really sure who I want. Although, there are 2 players that are still available, I noticed, that I don't want rotting away on the free agent list. Joe Pavelski. Buddy, I can't guarantee you're even going to play, but I can't, in good conscience, let you or Patrick Marleau rot away on the free agent list. You're both asking for way too much money, but damn it, you're going to taxi squad this, and we're just going to carry you because I refuse. Like, no man left behind, damn it. We are carrying you to glory, come hell or high water. And looking at who else we could get here, Rupe Hintz, or Hintz, I suppose, is looking for a stupidly cheap deal. That would get him under RFA status. So, yeah, we're going to throw some money your way. I don't know if you'll even be able to play in the NHL, but Yeah. And even the Nemesnikov is looking for a stupidly low contract. So, we're going to go for him, too. I don't know who the hell is going to be in the AHL this year, but we're going to have some guys that are on just the dumbest contracts where, hey, if we wanted to flip them, they'll probably have pretty good value. So let's see what we get over the next few days, as Philip Deneau has been dealt to Philadelphia. 2 first-round picks. Jesus Christ. I know Zach Kassian was a part of that as well. That's insane. Hintz is signed, which is nice. Hintz. I'm going with Hintz. Pavelski is back. Howard has signed. What about Marlowe? Slater Cuckoo has signed. Kukin, Smith, Nemesnikov rejected. We lowballed him a bit too much. Gunnarsson, Manning, Olofsson, Friedman, Reinke, DeSimone. Marlowe goes to New Jersey. So the Devils swoop in and pick up Patrick Marlowe. We do bring back Pavelski, of all people, which is fine. Again, I don't know how much he'll play. This team it's just in such a weird spot. So there we go. We have a team. We are very much in Ottawa territory in that regard. We have a team. What that means from there, we're gonna find out. The good thing is, I think, well, actually, we might have to sign a few people. Let me double check this again. Actually, properly count that out. So we have our 3, we have our 6, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we got to sign like 2 more guys. Can't believe Patrick Marlowe rejected, but sure, why not? Why wouldn't Patrick Marlowe reject? Forward-wise, who else can we bring in? Ryan Getzlaf, just to piss off every Ducks fan. Getzlaf and Bobby Ryan. The perfect addition. Nemesnikov still doesn't have any offers, huh? Corey Perry. Okay. Do I bring in Getzlaf, Ryan, and Perry for the memes? The ultimate memes. I'll tell you what I do happen to do is bring in Marcus Sorensen, who's been a loyal soldier for me as of late. I'm tempted to go with people that aren't former Ducks, although it would be relatively hilarious how easily we could afford to do that. Mangiapane, I'm interested in, especially because he's looking for less than Trevor Moore. Let's go to the two-way options here and see what else we have. So Ennis, Charlie Hudon, Jason Spezza, Stefan Nason, Lucas Radil we could bring back after all this time. Looking for more interesting names. Maxim Latunov. You know what? You guys might still have some friendos on the team. Let's go for Latunov and Radil, and we'll bring back some of the boys from Season 1. And with that, I think we're okay. So what this team is, I have no idea, because Brendan Saad was just traded for 2 first-round picks and Kevin Ball. So I have no idea what's going on anymore. But everybody has signed. I mean, you know, I'm actually going to take that. No, I'm not. It would leave us without too many picks. There are some players I just want to get rid of because they were complete swings and misses. But I do not know. I am going to take that. I do not know if I have put this team in the right spot. Again, we could have gone with some crazy moves, some one-year deals to try and build things up. No guarantees those players would have signed, of course. Or we kind of go with this half-and-half situation that we're in right now where, yeah, we're going to be relatively dependent on a lot of our younger guys. But when your team fails so many times, it's often difficult to decide on a set path because you know they're better than getting their asses handed to them in the first round every single year. Let's take a look at the team. So, first and foremost, goaltending-wise, Gustafsson is a 79. He gets one more season before he's signed. and then he joins up. We're bringing him over next year. So it is going to be a Howard and Smith tandem who have both been good over the past few seasons. Carlson, Sandin, Merkley, Bouchard. And then from there, I do not know. I mean, that's our top 6 technically. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. Because I don't know how this is going to pan out. Who is still available on the free agent list that would actually sign for a good price? The answer appears to be nobody. All of those top players were signed. Oh boy. What are we going to be looking like here? That's the question. What are we going to be looking like? So goalie-wise, it's Howard and Smith. We're just going for it. And then for our depth goaltender, it's got to be Zach Emall, which sucks. Because high backup is an interesting potential, but I can't have Alexeyev not play. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I wonder if Alexeyev will get better just by being around decent players. So in terms of other moves, obviously Evan Bouchard would be called up, and that's kind of what I thought the defense would be this year anyway. Bouchard with those 6. Actually, in fairness, Slater Cuckoo was not a part of the plans. I don't know who else is going to be called up here. And then we have a lot of defensemen in the minors, which you could argue is 1 or 2 or 3 too many. This is why I was tempted to sign Lindholm and somebody else, because then you could have Carlson, Sandin, Merkley, Bouchard, whatever that third pairing is, and then Jeremy Waugh and Hayden Fleury are the depth options. Didn't go that direction. Might be regretting it just a bit. Just a little bit. Forward-wise, we have 10, 11, 12, and 13 with Lehkonen. We got some players to send down is what we got going on here. In terms of who I want to potentially give a chance to, I mean, there's Dahlin, there's Gregor, Leonard, Cole Perfetti is listed as a depth forward, which means he should probably be getting an opportunity this year. So if we're looking, Meyer, Couture, Hurdle, Kane, Bjorkstrand, Eberle, Pavelski, Hintz, Gambrell, Hyman, Blichfeld, True. I don't hate it. I mean, Rupe Hintz just as a very underrated, out-of-nowhere signing that I didn't really plan on having on this team, but, I mean, for that contract, I couldn't not sign him. How old is Jonathan Dahlin at this point? He's 24, as is Noah Gregor. John Leonard is also 24. Chekovich deserves a chance. This is rough because a lot of these younger guys deserve an opportunity. How am I going to make space to make this happen? I mean, we've kind of given Alex True a bit of an opportunity, so I'm not opposed to having him start in the minors this year. Even Pavelski and Hintz, I'm not opposed to having them start in the minors because that way we can see what's going on with a lot of these younger guys. And that's honestly who deserves the opportunities right now. So right there, we have 10, 11, 12, and 13 with Chekovich. I would still have to send certain people down. Chekovich is 23, so I need to give him the opportunity immediately. And then, that's a tough call here. They're all medium 9s, right? It's a high 9 for Gregor, so he's definitely staying. I'm going to send John Leonard down for the moment, or we're going to give Cole Perfetti an opportunity. And yeah, Pavelski and Hintz are probably going to start either as scratches or in the minors, which not necessarily ideal for them, but I need to see what some of these younger guys have. So let's see. All you guys are good on the second line. Hurdle and Meyer have to be on the top line. Bjorkstrand is a good fit on either the first or second line. Technically, we would need a sniper on that top line. And, of course, Couture would be the ideal center. And then third line, Perfetti, Hyman, Gambrell isn't terrible. Is Perfetti a good enough center? 81 for him, so the answer to that is yes. So probably make Gambrell or Perfetti himself a sniper. Probably Perfetti. Gambrell has the better playmaking ability. Maybe have, Hurdle could be the sniper on that line. Bjorkstrand should be the playmaker. Hurdle is a sniper. Meyer is a power forward. That's fine. Kane is a power forward. Probably change Logan Couture to playmaker. And we should get better boosts. And then that fourth line, unfortunately, that is not a fit for Jonathan Dahlen, but it's not a detriment. It does suck, though. And then defensively, we're going to go for it. And we're going to see what this team's got. Sandin's an amazing fit on the third pair. And Wa's a better fit there. Funny enough, though, it's based off of player types here. But yeah, if we make that change, we'll go Sandin and Fleury. Sandin will probably be on that strong side. We'll go Bouchard and Wa. And have Bouchard in a shooting position. And Ryan Merkley will still be with Erik Karlsson. So I have some things to switch around really quickly, but this is the team that's going to start the year. And I know the goalie situation. I know. But we're letting a lot of the younger guys take over. Again, I don't want to throw Gustafsson to the Wolves this year. You could argue sign him and play him in the AHL. But we have some things to decide on to begin with. So we are going to start the season sim. I'll be back in a second. I got some things to fix up with this team. All right, we're good to go. The team is set for the opener. Quick bit of housekeeping, though, just to get you a look at the coaching staff in full. Again, Beach here is our new head coach. Not as high of a rating. I know it's a bit of a risk, but it's more basing it off of trying to just see what happens, and then hopefully next year there's better coaches available. That's really the one handicap. The one coach we got rid of was really freaking good. But the main thing here is that he was an amazing team fit. So I'm hoping that pays off for us. Joe Thornton is still here as our associate coach. The assistant coach, Alex Denis, is head coach quality. So we have an amazing fill-in if our coach is detrimental to the team. And then our goalie coach is amazing in terms of A+ in teaching. Laurent Parenteau is a very, very good AHL coach. Technically, he's an NHL caliber coach that we are giving all of the money to. I don't think I can see his contract from there. Yeah, we're paying him quite a bit. Brent Burns is actually a pretty damn good coach, so hopefully he can keep getting better. Chevrier is there, and Olvetsky, I guess it would be, because people used to say Thomas Kopecky, and it wasn't Kopecky, it was Kopechki. So, yeah, we're listed as hopefuls. This is what the squad looks like after all of these changes. So we have a +3 on the top line and the second line, and +1s on the bottom two lines. Now, you could say it's unfair to pair three essentially rookies on the same line, but we'll see how they do. And then defensively, yeah, it's looking okay. And that's why I wasn't necessarily afraid of playing a lot of younger, lower overall guys. +5, and a +3. Things are going to be okay. Goaltending-wise, we'll see. We'll see. That's not what I imagined we'd end up with. DeSimone, Pavelski, and Hintz are the healthy scratches right now because, again, we need to see what we have with some of these guys. And I know it's insanity to have 284 overall guys scratched, but I don't really care. I mean, signing Hintz was for the sole purpose of having a good backup option, but hell, he could be traded if need be. I imagine his value is through the roof right now, given how good of a contract that is. And then again in the AHL, we have some guys to pay attention to, but not a ton. I mean, again, guys like Chmelevski, Leonard, Gallant, they might be given chances. Defensively, it's really only Mario Ferraro. And then goaltending-wise, Eliasson, but mainly Alexiev. We'll see what he can do. And actually, speaking of trade value, let's go take a look at that really quickly because so much about this team just isn't set yet. As again, Gustafsson, 79 overall. His era begins in the next season for sure. And then we still have the likes of Gagliardi, who he's got a long way to go. Defensively, we really didn't have anybody to sign, and I'm going to try to shop Nash really quickly. And then forward-wise, in terms of unsigned players, it was just Ellison, who is NHL caliber, but we'll probably wait to bring him in next year as well. He'd be sent down to junior anyway, so we might as well give it one more year. So we're going to see what we have with a lot of these guys this year. This lineup is going to change a lot based off of performance and just seeing what happens. So for now, that Tavares guy is, again, actually pretty damn good. We're going to leave the goaltending as is. Defensively, I do want to get rid of this low top four guy because it is such a terrible potential. As we can get a third and a fourth. I don't want Bodker. I'll take the best draft pick situation that I can get, which is going to be a third and a fourth, and we'll take it from a division rival in the form of the Anaheim Ducks. And then forward-wise, I do want to get rid of Vegetti, and I can't. So that's all well and good. So let's get this season underway. We're not going to go through the entire season today, but I do want to see what this team can do, what this team is capable of, who stays, who goes. It's all undecided right now, and it's, again, based solely off of who performs and who doesn't. I mean, we are very much, teetering on the very, very fine line of still being contenders and needing to blow it up. But obviously, when you're talking about a team that has Couture, that has Meyer, Carlson, Kane, you don't really want to look at blowing up a team like that. This team is good enough to win. We just haven't gotten the defense and the goaltending thus far. I mean, in particular, the goaltending. But a quick look here. We start our season in Philadelphia. I want to take a look at the overall ratings before we start this season. So right now we're at a 95, an 84, and an 83, but obviously with the overall boosts, we're looking a little bit better than that. We'll give it a month or two before we look to start shaking things up. Maybe go a month, shake up the lines if need be, and then after that second month, if we still have players who are struggling, we make changes. We have won the division title in every single season we have simmed thus far in this series. There is a chance we could keep that streak alive. Time will ultimately tell. We have a very, very long way to go, but despite how weak our team might be on paper, especially too, I'd say, with the goaltending, we did sign two guys who have put up good numbers over the past 2 years. To hell with what the overall number is. What the hell are the stats as we win 8 of our first 10 games? So I can't really imagine making any lineup changes off of that. Erik Karlsson is doing very, very well. Although I do wonder what this team would look like with Brent Burns there rather than Hayden Fleury. But taking a look here, Timo Meier, 7 points in 10 games. Needs to step it up a bit defensively. 8 points for Tomas Hertl. Bjorkstrand there with 7. Second line. Vander Kane off to a bit of a slow start. Couture's been all right. Eberle's been okay as well. Gambrell with 9 points in 10 games. He's been great. Cole Perfetti, 7 points in 10 games. And 6 points for Zach Hyman. Fourth line, 3 points for Jonathan Dahlen. 4 for Gregor. 3 for Blichfeld. So can't really complain. Defensively, Karlsson doing very well defensively. 4 points for Ryan Merkley. He had 4 points and a +7 for Bouchard. He and Waugh doing pretty well. No real complaints thus far. And goaltending-wise, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's what dreams are made of, guys. Oh my God. That is, and again, guys is an all-inclusive term, guys and gals, because there's like 2 of you. But holy hell, that is... See, there are times with this game where you just have to embrace the meme and make the best of it. And right now, we're making the best of it. Although, I really am thinking, what could I get for Pavelski and Hintz just in case their overalls start to drop? Because I don't think I'm going to play them at all this year. I really don't. If we send people down, it's Leonard, it's Chmelevski, it's Chekovich, it's Gallant, Alex True. These guys are the ones that are going to get opportunities to make it in this lineup. Now, Hintz hasn't complained yet, and again, he is an amazing player who could make this team even better. I don't deny it, but maybe the downside to signing him to the deal that I did is that next year, I mean, he is going to be an RFA, but I guess it's just a question of whether or not I'd be able to keep that overall and that morale up before that deal were to be done and we could get compensation for him. Grzelcyk is there. Esa Lindell in a fourth. 2 seconds is what we're looking at. A first from New Jersey. Jesus. A prospect named Koskaranta. A first from Tampa. A dude named Wise, Vorobiev, Noel Gunler. Holy shit. Nick Robertson, noted defenseman. Wow. So again, it's Koskaranta, Wise, Vorobiev, and Gunler. Jesus. Let me take a look at this, because this might just make sense to do now. I mean, this Tampa deal could make all the sense in the world for us. So skaters matching the block. I mean, we get Gunler and play him next year. Good God, man. I mean, you could make the argument between Vorobiev and Wise and whether or not Wise would be to that level. I know we'd be helping the rich get richer, but we pick up Noel Gunler. I mean, I know a first-round pick is, you know, that could be anything depending on the team. I think we got to make this move. New Jersey was offering a first. They're at 5-4-1. I got to be honest. I think we shop him right now. I think we have to. It's been long enough that I won't get in trouble for trading a player too early. He's got to go. In fact, I can get a first-round pick from the Devils. That makes far too much sense. That makes far too much sense. A first and a second from New Jersey. I can take out the garbage that's been added to the deal. Maybe add in another pick. He has to be in, unfortunately. That sucks. They already have Brandt Clark, Taylor Hall still there. How long is his deal for? Ugh. Can I get Sarangovich instead? If I could, I'd do that. I'm going to do this. Now, I know in theory it makes him better, and it's a draft pick for a few years down the road, but who the hell knows what that becomes. Rube Hintz, you're out of here, bud. You're out of here. So that, I don't like signing players just to trade them, but that was the deal to make. It was. Again, I hate signing players just to try and trade them, but different circumstances, I would say, in this situation, as to where I would have been an idiot. I would have been an absolute idiot to not sit there and trade him with New Jersey throwing a future first-round pick in my face. He wasn't going to play, because this is the year that I need to see if any of these guys that are really cut out for the bottom six are good enough to play those spots full-time. We have to figure that out this year. A lot of those guys haven't been given the opportunity over the past few seasons, again, because Marleau, Pavelski, you look at bringing in Derek Stepan last year instead of giving these guys a chance. This is the year where they need to be given an opportunity. And I mean, so far, so good. We're going to start losing games this week because I just said that. But I don't know. I don't feel too good about it. I never feel too good about cheesing the AI, but it is what it is. I try not to do it all that often, because the more you cheese the computers, the less interesting it makes it. But I mean, it's not. I'm not the one who decided for Rube Hintz to be, signing a $1.5 million deal, which is just highway robbery in the first place. So, and hey, New Jersey might get something for him if they let him go as an RFA. So through 24 games, we are in sole possession of first place in the Pacific Division. Logan Couture leading this team in points, over a point a game on the year. Timo Meier has not done particularly well, and he did complain or at least give out about how poor he's been, and he hasn't done well. He did well in the playoffs, though, so it's not as if we're chomping at the bit to get rid of him. Hurdle's been just okay. Bjorkstrand's been carrying that line. He would be the obvious guy to send down, but he's been the best of the bunch. I mean, I guess an obvious switch would be Meier and Kane, just because they're both power forwards, but Kane's doing very well on that second line, overcoming a slow start. Jordan Eberle also doing okay. So, I mean, if I were to make that change, it's the only one to make. I'm going to have to do it. We're going to bump up Evander Kane, and hopefully that doesn't mess up the chemistry too much with Couture and Eberle. Third line, Gambrell, fine numbers thus far. Decent from Cole Perfetti. You can make the argument whether or not it'd be more beneficial to send him down for the rest of the year. Hyman, not a big point getter, but obviously a strong penalty killer for us. Could potentially move him if we had to, though, to make room for somebody else. Jonathan Dahlen, the point pace is okay, but it's not great. Gregor on 7 points. Blichfeld not doing all that well right now. So that fourth line's hurting a little bit. And out of all the lines, one of them is bound to struggle a bit. I'm not overly impressed. And I feel like that's fair to say. Gregor's hanging around at a near 20-point pace, but Blichfeld and Dahlen are not, unfortunately. Dahlen's relatively close. I might give them a little bit more time. Carlson's slowing down a bit. That second pairing's still doing well. That third pairing's still doing okay. And then goaltending-wise, God, I'll take it. It might be a little bit dumb, but I'll take it. I'm going to give that fourth line a little bit more time to turn it around before we start talking to the Chmelevskis, the Chekoviches, and the John Leonards of the world. We kind of already know what Alex True can provide at the NHL level, and he's not quite where I'd want him to be from a point perspective or a defensive standpoint, so I don't know. He does bring a physical game, but I'm not all that impressed. And our offensive style is to roll 3 lines. So the fourth line, it is going to be tough for them to put up points, but also it's like, okay, if you're not putting up points, at least do something for us defensively. Don't be a detriment. And thus far, it hasn't been a great performance from that fourth line, but we're going to give them a little bit more time in this season and in this episode before we call it quits. So we're still looking good. We just lost to a very good St. Louis team. We have to play a very good Colorado team. At least we're picking up pity points along the way. But we are losing far too many games. If we lose to Dallas or Carolina, we're going to have to potentially stop. Another pity point. I mean, it's helping. Can we beat Calgary? Yes, we can. We're going to have to play Colorado again. We lose to them. We're sticking with it. We only have 2 more games left this month, so we'll see what we look like at the end of this. We are still going to be atop the Pacific as we approach the halfway point of the season. We are 37 games into it, and right where we've been, atop the division. That has not changed. Funny enough, goaltending is the first thing I want to look at. Where Jimmy Howard's numbers are dropping a bit, so are Mike Smith's, but they've still been solid. I mean, not great, but solid. And seeing as what we've dealt with in the past, you look at how badly Freddie Anderson struggled. Binnington was okay in the regular season, then fell apart in the playoffs. You look at what we had with Martin Jones in the past. This is some of the best goaltending we've seen in this series for this team to date. Erik Karlsson and Merkley still doing okay. I don't really have any complaints with the defense right now. I don't really have any complaints. And from an offensive standpoint, Kane put up 8 points that month. That's okay. Hurdle looking okay at this point. Myers picked it up a bit since playing on that second line. Third line's looking pretty good. I mean, Perfetti should be able to hit 30, as should Zach Hyman, so I don't really have complaints. 9 points for Jonathan Dahlen and a -4, 10 for Gregor, and 3 for Blichfeld. Here is the issue. All 3 of them are waiver eligible, So I'll leave it up to you guys. What do you think we do with the 3 members of the 4th line? Are they going to cut it, knowing that they're going to have a tough time fighting into those third line minutes right now? I don't know. What do you think? Because moving forward, I mean, Gambrell can be a great third liner for us with power play time. Perfetti might be pushing for top 6 minutes in the future. Jordan Eberle, I still don't want to go anywhere because his contract is amazing. And then we just signed Bjorkstrand, who, again, that's a fairly movable contract if we need to move it. So these guys are going to have bottom 6 minutes. It's going to be very tough for them to move up to that third line unless we get rid of a Zach Hyman. So what do you think? Is it just not meant to be for those guys? Do we look to move on from them and go with the next options? Chekovich, Leonard, Chmelevski. Again, the top options, Gallant and True. Lesser so. I know Lekkonen's there. I don't want to play Lekkonen there again. He's there to boost up the AHL. I want to see what these other guys can do. We'll turn to Lekkonen out of desperation if we need it. Marcus Sorensen could be a top liner for us, or at least he could under that last coach. So, overall, I mean, this team thrives in the regular season. Not exactly breaking news there, am I? I mean, we didn't bring in Johnny Gaudreau. We didn't bring in Hampus Lindholm or Matt Murray. We are still atop the division, and we are still the 3rd best team in the NHL right now. And I can't say I'm surprised.